Hello and welcome to today's 4Ps podcast. Today we have a special guest. She is all the way from the Kansas City, Missouri / Kansas region. It's funny that today, we were sitting there talking. I'm literally wearing a Buffalo Bills shirt. We did talk a little bit about the rivalry between the Bills and the Chiefs. Obviously, we being the Buffalo Bills, have been on the wrong end of that rivalry for far too long. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am hoping that this is the year that it changes. I do have to say that, Chiefs are a fine organization, and I have to give them credit where credit is due. And I'm going to stop right there when it comes to that. But today, all rivalry and joking aside, today we have a guest that is. I admire her strength. I admire what she's doing. She has a thing called Mental Mixology. She has a podcast. I have been on her podcast. You need to hear her story and what she's doing for mental health, not only in the Kansas City area, but throughout the country, throughout the world. She has a lot of different non-for-profit things that are going on. She has a bunch of fundraising things that are going on, and she is really raising an awareness of mental health. I talk about mental health a lot in this podcast. I talk about it. It's one of the reasons why I have the stories of books that are out right now. Mental health is, when you're dealing with 4Ps, and purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. If you are not clear, if you do not have the right level of or if you're not healthy mentally, those 4Ps are they're almost non-existent. There's something that you can't deal with, because you have to deal with the whole person approach. You have to deal with physical health. Yes, you got to make sure you're physically healthy, but I'm going to tell you, if you're not mentally healthy, you are in a world of hurt. And I love how we are bringing awareness to that. I wish that health insurance companies and things like that, they paid more attention to mental health. I have talked about that quite a few times, that sometimes they're not getting physical health. If you have a malady, a physical malady, health insurance policies or health insurance companies, for the most part, they drop a whole bunch of money on physical, and that's what they concentrate on. That's their main focus. Mental health is not so much. And with all of the stresses that we have going on here in the world, I said here, I was going to say here in America, but here in the world, we need to make sure we focus on that a little bit more. And Elex Simon is doing just that. When we come back, we will have Elex Simon. She will be talking to her again. Fantastic individual, and also proof that Chiefs fans and Bills fans can coexist and get along. We'll be right back right after this.
The 4 Ps of You, Expanded Edition by Trunnis Goggins, is a powerful guide to personal growth built on 4 foundational principles: purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. In this expanded edition, Goggins shares real stories of trials and tribulations, his own and those of others, to inspire readers to reflect, reset, and rise. With added insights and practical exercises, this book empowers you to navigate life's challenges, unlock your potential, and live with greater intention and impact. The 4 Ps of You is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and worldwide wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to the 4Ps podcast. Today we have an awesome guest, a very patient guest. And I'm going to tell you, we have been talking since probably last summer about getting together and doing something podcast wise or otherwise. I was just on her podcast just a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half ago. It was great. Totally enjoyed my time with her. The funny thing is, Elex, is from 30 minutes outside Kansas City, Missouri. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to say this. I am born and raised in Buffalo, New York. And we know Kansas City and Buffalo over the last couple years, we do not like each other. But I will tell you, Elex, good people from Kansas City. All right. There are great people in Kansas City. And Elex is definitely one. But again, she had to be 30 minutes outside Kansas City. So just putting that out there. I don't know. Elex, welcome to the program. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for having me today. And yeah, it's I swear, just the whole state. It's the Chiefs Nation all over Missouri and even Kansas. You can't really get away from it. So yeah, even being 30
Absolutely.
minutes away, it's yeah, it's basically a religion for some people, to be honest with you.
Oh, and it's the same in Buffalo. We have that religion. I mean, people will do but I will say this: it is something that in this very divided country that we're living in.
Hmm.
We've had, eh, violence and either mental, physical, whatever, emotional violence when it comes to what's going on in this nation. One thing I have to say is the Bills in
Hmm.
Buffalo and the Chiefs in your area, they bring the entire city together.
Yep,
I
couldn't
mean,
agree more.
even if it's just for like 2 hours, 3 hours, or a season, it's funny that you could see people, conservative, liberal,
Yep.
gay, straight, black, white. They'll sit in a stadium, 80, 90,000 people plus, and they're all wearing the same colors, they're all cheering for the same thing, and it's a lot of fun. So I will
Oh.
give you that. Now, is Taylor Swift going to be moving to Kansas City?
Okay, so and to be honest, because my boyfriend is like a huge Chiefs fan, he
Hmm.
says that she is living in Kansas City. I don't keep up with it that much, but I think they said also so Lee Summit is also kind of like 30 minutes where I'm away like living from, and they got engaged
Hmm.
supposedly in Lee Summit and they live in Kansas City, but like I said, I don't follow it that much, but that is the rumor.
Okay, that is the rumor that Taylor Swift is going to be living in Kansas City, and we heard it here first on this podcast, not the Kelsey podcast. On this podcast first, we know what's going on.
Oh,
Again,
exactly.
welcome, and we're not talking about Taylor Swift. As a 54-year-old man, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about. But we are talking about what you do. One thing that I love about this next generation
Mhm.
is the entrepreneurship. And I say this next generation because, like I said, I'm looking at you. Clearly, you're not in my generation, not at all, nowhere near it. But what I see is I see young entrepreneurs. You have a phenomenal organization. Your organization deals with something that is really needed. I mean, we're under just an enormous amount of stress. It's funny that as technology increases and our life is supposed to get easier,
Mhm.
it actually gets more and more stressful. What made
Yep.
you come up with mental mixology and what is it all about?
So honestly, the idea, so I was in college when I first had the idea for the podcast. And, I'm the kind of person where if I do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So trying to think of the concept for the podcast, it took a little bit. And right before I had gone to college, basically my senior year going into high school, I was sexually assaulted. And about 2 weeks after that, I was hit by a drunk driver. And I was a very confident, adventurous, spunky teenage girl.
Hmm.
And those two things completely changed my whole life. I was afraid of everything. I stayed at home all the time, didn't want to hang with friends. I was afraid of the world. And I thought rationally, if I keep myself in this little bubble forever, nothing outside of my control can hurt me. And it was really difficult dealing with that at my senior year, this point in my life, because not only am I trying to figure out what do I want to do, who do I want to be, where do I want to go to school, I'm also trying to navigate, almost kind of like the new personality I'm dealing with after the
Hmm.
PTSD I had gone through. And so college was rough to say the least. My parents at first were like, we don't want you to get a job at first. We want you to focus on school and, just kind of figure things out. And that put me in a dark spot. I'd go to class, I'd come back, be in my dorm room, wouldn't really do much. And it wasn't like I didn't have friends there trying to get me to go hang out. I would be getting ready with my girlfriends who I lived with, and we'd be getting dressed and putting makeup on, and we'd go to like hang out with friends. And like right before we would leave, just something in me, I would be like, I'm just going to stay in the room. I'm not going to leave. You guys go. I'm fine. And eventually, after freshman, the first semester, I got two serving jobs. So I was waitressing, working at a bar, and going to school full time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have time to feel or deal with my emotions until COVID happened and shut everything down. So school went online, all my jobs basically went away until we could have restaurants open back up. And I thought I had fixed everything, but that was kind of when I realized I hadn't. And as a
Mm-hmm.
college kid, therapy was really the first thing I looked into because I was a little, I don't know if trepidatious is the word, but I wasn't super keen on trying, antidepressants or something
Hmm.
along those lines. I was a little nervous because I
Okay.
know it's kind of a trial and error process. So therapy was really nice, but as a broke college kid, it was expensive for me. And, paying for school, I'm like, okay, let's put that money to pay for school right now and put that on the back burner. But in therapy, when I finally took that journey on, I was talking to my therapist and I'm like, what are sustainable things I can do to help with my mental health? Because, it's nice going to therapy, but I wanted to feel like I was in control of what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
so, she gave me some tips and tricks to kind of help with my anxiety and depression. She helped me realize where my anxiety and depression had stemmed from with the PTSD, because until I went to a therapist, I didn't realize a lot of what I had been dealing with was because of past trauma I had gone through. Um, but after therapy, I went to Google and I'm looking up, sustainable ways I can help with my mental health, and fell in love with bodybuilding. I'm really big into health and wellness. To this day, I mean, for the past 4 years, have been working out 4 to 6 days a week. And, when I realized that therapy and medication are not the only two options when you're struggling,
Right.
thinking about how many people are dealing with similar things to me, maybe worse, maybe not as bad. We all deal with it to a certain extent, but how many people feel like there isn't a solution for them because the two solutions that are there just they don't feel comfortable with. So
Right.
I started Mental Mixology to start uncovering more resources, talking about the conversation more so people feel more normal, more comfortable with what's going on. Um, Really, the resource part of it's the big thing, because between finding good, healthy outlets for your mental health, things like cryotherapy, there's just so much out there and we don't talk about it enough. So
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of where it all stemmed from, was my personal experience with it all.
And so when you talk about the great mix, and I will say that working out is probably the best therapy that anyone can ever have. I mean, and you don't have to lift, you don't have to be a power lifter or anything else like that. I know I play hockey, haven't been playing for a long time. I can blame Joe Jackson for that because she's got me into doing CrossFit for a CrossFit competition that's coming up. But um, it there's something that it does that helps you in fixing whatever's going on. um so your mixology, your mental mixology is not just you get therapy and you take medicine. Your
Correct.
mixology is we may do therapy, we
Mhm.
may do a little medication, we may do group sessions or something like that. We may do a whole bunch of different things to contribute to this. What does your organization? You have a phenomenal podcast. Your guests are great. Your guests provide a lot of information. And I'm not saying your guests are great because I was on there, because that kind of like that really did
They are
bring the
pretty
bar
good
down.
though.
Yeah, they bring the bar down quickly when I was on there. So but no, when you have um I'm trying to think of the I mean, I know that when people pull up your podcast, they're really
Yeah.
getting edified. They're getting oh wow, I never thought of that as an option. I never thought of that as a solution. I never thought of that, period. What other things does mental mixology do, as far as the whole
Yeah.
um, organization? Go ahead.
Yeah, so and to be honest, it's evolved beyond what I honestly thought it was going to be because I started it as a podcast because
Hmm.
as I mentioned, I had wanted to do a podcast, with my own experiences. It kind of just came to fruition as a mental health podcast, but last year we started getting into the community doing mental health
Hmm.
awareness events. So I live a little outside of Kansas City, but where I graduated high school is right in the center of Missouri, super small town. And they don't have a lot of mental health awareness. I mean, a lot of things that you see in the big cities in terms of just community gatherings and getting people involved, it doesn't happen as much in the smaller towns. So I started doing a walkathon. We basically, Mental Mixology, since we're a nonprofit that allocates resources for mental health. We
Okay.
aren't legitimate therapists that are advising clients and working with people. But the cool thing about what we get to do is we partner with, for example, Burl Behavioral Health. They are an organization in 5 states, a lot of appearance in a lot of offices in Missouri, but we partner with behavioral health centers and we promote them and raise funds for them with our events. So
Hmm.
this year was our second annual one, and we really want to promote these resources because it really made me realize how important this was, because when I graduated and I've been putting all this work together, I'm telling my friends who I grew up in Sedalia with, and I'm like, oh, I'm working with Burl. And they're like, who's Burl? And we grew up in this town and nobody my age knows of the mental health facility here to help everybody. So
Right.
that was a really big thing, was showing people what resources we already have in town, bringing other resources in, because along with the walkathon, we kind of make it a fun, lighthearted event. We had like a little iced and hot coffee bar this year, but then we brought in health and wellness resources, mental health resources that set up tables for people to kind of explore. So, in essence, we do events to subconsciously show people resources that they can use when they're struggling. And, we even expand off that. We go to health expos, we go to colleges and set up tables, and our tables are covered with 988 resources, NAMI. I mean, everything we can get our hands on resource wise, whether we're, like I said, setting up tables or hosting events, we're trying to put that out into the community in various different ways. I mean, even
Hmm.
online, we're posting just fun, like mental health informative posts on our Instagram and Facebook too. Yeah, just trying to be creative with getting out information to people.
Hmm. So now, what would be your so you're doing these events.
Mhm.
Mental health affects everybody. It doesn't matter age, whatever. Uh, what age group and what demographic do you see coming to you the most?
Definitely, I would say 18 to 25, 30-year olds,
Hmm.
which I think is really cool because that hits home with me and when my mental illness really started becoming apparent in my life.
Right.
So I think it's really neat that, kids that were at my age when I was struggling the most, they're the ones that are coming to a lot of these events. They're the ones listening to the podcast a lot, commenting and liking on our stuff on social medias. And it's so cool going to colleges, because I honestly spent the past 2 weeks setting up tables at colleges and
Hmm.
just hearing from people about how, it really does start, in the house, like when they grow up, with their family, because older generations, I mean, my parents included,
Hmm.
which it's taken time to make that conversation more normal and more comfortable for my parents more specifically, but they'll talk about how, mental health was just never part of the conversation. And,
Right.
now that they're in college, they're really trying to prioritize taking care of their mental health just because they weren't really shown how to do so. So it's really cool seeing people searching out that foundation and trying to even help people around them, because I even have people come up to me saying, they've been impacted by someone in their life, either committing suicide or, going through an overdose, and, they take it upon themselves to get that information to share with their loved ones. So
Right.
it is really cool.
It's funny that you bring up about mental health in the older generations, and I'm saying the generation just before yours.
Yeah.
Your parents are probably the same age as I am,
Mhm.
around that age.
Yeah.
54. So there you
Yep.
go.
Hmm.
1971. Yeah, Ronald, or not
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan. I'm sorry, Richard Nixon was president when I was born. So
Yeah,
and
so my dad's
like
actually turning 50 in a few weeks. So yeah, spot
yeah,
on.
yeah. I will tell you, when your dad turns 50, I'm going to tell you, when I realized that, oh my God, I'm 50, I
Uh-huh.
was reaching for, I had Dove soap, the liquid soap, and I
Uh-huh.
was in the shower and I just reached for it and I was like, oh my God, I'm 50. And then I put it, and that's exactly what went through my
The
head.
moment.
50, yeah, that is the moment. And it comes during that day. So just tell your
Mhm.
dad that when he turns 50, sometime during that day, and it could be at the dumbest time. Like me, I'm literally reaching for the soap, getting ready to put it on my scrubber, and like, oh my God, I'm 50. Holy crap. You know
So
what I
funny.
mean?
Yeah, he doesn't feel like it yet. He says it hasn't really hit him, even though he's not technically 50 yet. But yeah, I gotta let him know.
It is going to hit him and it is going to hit. But then you know what you do? If you feel
Oh,
good, you feel young, you're like, oh, I'm 50. Okay. And you keep on going. But
that's it.
anyway, going back, but you are right. We did not know how to approach mental health back
Mhm.
in the day. Now, there is another problem. This is why, and I'm calling it a problem. I'm not, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. This is where I am so impressed with what you are doing and the fundraising and the things that you're doing. When someone comes up and says, and it doesn't matter, your age, my age, whatever. If I go to a health practitioner right now, doesn't matter what it is, and I say, hey, I have, I don't know. Well, here's one. When I had shoulder surgery, my shoulder was acting up.
Mhm.
They literally, before they did surgery, they treated me religiously for a whole year.
Wow.
Religiously, they treated me. They took care of everything.
Wow.
They had, now remember, this is a shoulder,
Uh-huh.
okay? It was a torn rotator cuff, and they were trying to rehab it back in, and stupid me, because I like working out, I made it worse, and
Yeah.
they ended up having to do this. But I don't know how many thousands of dollars they spent
Mhm.
on my shoulder
Shoulder. Mhm.
rehabilitation, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then ultimately the surgery, which I know costs a lot of money because I brought some equipment home and I saw the receipts. Okay.
Oh.
But when my daughter passed away, my daughter died by homicide in Indiana. And when she passed away, I will tell you,
Mhm.
I went through a mental sickness, and I'm going to call it a sickness. I'm not going to call it
Yeah.
an illness because it was temporary. I got out of it.
Mhm.
But I went through probably the darkest time in my entire life. I
Yeah.
lost focus. I lost focus. I lost everything
Mhm.
mentally. I knew that I wasn't the same.
Yeah.
There were thoughts that came in my mind that never came in there before.
Yeah.
So I went to get treatment. Now remember, okay, now this was the shoulder surgery was just 5 years ago. My daughter died 10 years ago. So that could play a part of it as well. I don't know if there's any changes.
Mhm.
When I went to go get when I went to my doctor and said, "Hey, I need something. I'm messed up." First thing they offered me was medication. Like
Mhm.
you, I wasn't going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are certain things that, number one, it takes too much time. Number two,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. Number
Exactly.
three, I've heard, like, and you watch these things on TV where,
Mhm.
take this, it makes you feel better, but hey, one of the side effects are suicide. I'm like, whoa,
Oh my gosh.
hey.
Well, and there's a long list, and that's the thing too, is I even know people that
Yeah.
like you almost feel like a zombie before it gets good. Like that's the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it can be really good, but it really is because I mean it's
Yeah.
it's chemical balance that you're messing with. I
Right.
mean, yeah.
Exactly. And so what they do is, number one, they try to hurry up and try to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And number two, if they can't hurry up, or if that's not the way you want to be treated,
Mm-hmm.
then they say, like, for example, the insurance company that I was with at that time said, hey, you're going to be able to do 5 mental health sessions with a
Mm-hmm.
therapist. After that 5th one, out of pocket, $175.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, wait a minute. So I have 5 chances. So I can do this for 5 weeks. I have to fix my health in 5 weeks. They didn't say that about my shoulder.
Oh
My
no.
shoulder's like, hey, we're going to
Uh-huh.
spend, months. And I think it was close to a year before they
Yeah.
finally said, okay, we're just going to go ahead and do the surgery.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Yeah.
But with mental health, and that's the thing. So when I hear your organization come out and say, okay, there is a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a lack of resources, here's what I'm going to do. I love it. It is a great thing. Now, how, and so I know that you're focused solely on the Missouri, Kansas City, or Kansas area as well, so the 2 states. um have you ever thought about branching out or doing other things
Yes.
beyond where you are? Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that's the thing. Like I don't know, I get excited. I can go a mile a minute, so I try to like go slow and be like, let's take this step by step and evolve it. And that's been the cool thing, is being able to just kind of expand it, city by city in Missouri right now. But yeah, definitely, especially because we're in the age of technology,
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, a lot of the stuff we do online, the events are really the one thing right now that we're doing in a local area. But eventually the plan is to try to spread it as much across the United States as possible. Let's just say that.
Excellent. My other question to you is this, and this is a question, and I've never asked a question of this magnitude on this podcast, and this is the first time I'm going to say, if you don't want to answer it, don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do want to ask you is this: um, how are you feeling? And I'm asking because you went through um, you went through 2 things. Number one, that were beyond your control.
Hmm.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
You had let's go to the drunk driver. That was
Yeah.
way beyond your control. And
Yeah.
the other one, the
Mhm.
assault, um, was way beyond your control.
Yeah.
I do want to ask 2 questions. Number one, did they catch the guy or person who did the sexual assault?
No, and to be honest, yeah, it's something now, like, I slowly kind of talk about. I really don't share much.
Right.
It's hard, when you hear people
It
talk
is.
about how hard it is to even like my parents had no idea that it had even happened until 3 years ago.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say that, it is sad. That's another thing. Um, you know, I'm going to have somebody on this program here a couple weeks from now that talks about
Mhm.
how um, that is a very for so many reasons that is
Mhm.
something that, and I'm sorry that that happened. How are you feeling mentally? Everything.
Yeah, honestly, it has its good days and bad days.
Hmm.
Especially because now from where I was, leaps and bounds. And because of a array of different reasons, and that's why mental mixology is so near and dear to me, because I think there's so many different things I do on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis that just help
Hmm.
me maintain where I'm at now. And like I said, it's taken time. It's taken trial and error with hobbies and, trial and error with friends. Life
Right.
is just a learning lesson. And as soon as you realize that you can take something away from everything, and that I'm I'm a Catholic, or I'm in the Catholic religion, just leaning on God when I've done everything in my power, and I just, you can only do so much, and you can only control things that are in within your control. And
Right.
you know realizing that, I have a lot of power within my control and I can do so much every day, to my best ability. And that's as much as I can worry about. It's helped a lot. But yeah, I have been really good. But like I said, I do want to be very transparent with, it will fluctuate. And that's just a part of
Absolutely.
life, a part of, situations you go through in life. But having learned so much to keep myself level headed in this median point, or knowing what I need to do to get myself back to being good, it's helped me a lot. And I know I'll probably need to keep learning to be able to continue to be able to manage my mental health to the best of my ability, because,
Yeah.
yeah, every day is a new day.
Hey, so mental mixology is actually helping Alex Simon as well, then, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and that's like, even just talking to you and, about your book and, listening to your podcast. I mean, it makes me very happy that I've fallen into mental mixology, because it's given me I feel like I have found my purpose. And it
Hmm.
really it gives me a reason to wake up every day, and to be able to do something I'm so passionate about, where, it doesn't matter if I don't make a single dollar, it doesn't matter if I only have one person listening to the podcast. Like, I just thoroughly enjoy it, and I feel like it's the reason why God put me on this earth. And, that might evolve, it might change a little bit, but
Hmm.
it's that right there has really
Absolutely.
changed the way I look at life, to be honest with you.
Wow. Well, I will tell you this right now, and your parents raised a very strong, strong, strong woman.
Thank you.
They did a good job, and I do know that a lot of people, especially having two events, tragic events, happen back to back.
Mhm.
Um, a lot less than that has destroyed people, and it
Mhm.
has done nothing but made you a million times stronger. Um, you're a great person, and anybody who gets to know you is a better person for that. And again,
Thank
I whatever you're leaning on, whatever you're doing, it does seem to work, and I appreciate that. You will be able to see. Actually, I will have ways to contact Alex and Mental Mixology on in the podcast notes. And I'm going to tell you, her podcast is a lot more cooler than mine. Mine's a little bit more laid back, reserved, whatever. But I
you.
want you to listen to her podcast. Please continue to listen to mine, because you're going to listen to hers a couple times. Like, man, this is really good. You're going to probably binge hers. All right. But yeah, but continue to listen to mine too while you're doing it. Alex, thank you for being on the program. I'm going to say this loudly because I know you are going to probably share this with your friends in Kansas City.
Mhm.
Go Bills. And as of this recording right now, we have a better record. So, stand back. All right.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
stand back, because we are going to, I'm just telling you, we're coming this time. We're coming hard
Oh,
this time,
yeah.
buddy.
Hey, I was gonna say, you guys came back. I was gonna say, it was a good game. It was a really exciting game to watch this weekend. So,
Do
I'm
you know?
excited to see what y'all do.
I'm going to tell you right now, when it was 33-19, and I'm going to share this with everybody and my people who listen in Buffalo. All right. When it was 33-19, I said something about this. It was, F this. I did. And I turned off the TV. I woke up the next morning and realized that I should have left the TV on. So
I
I
think
should
a
have
lot of
believed.
people I think a lot of people think that. My mom is from Buffalo, so she's like a one Bills fan in Chiefs Nation. She doesn't
Hmm.
watch football that much, but my pops passed away a few years ago, so it's something that, makes her think
Hmm.
of my grandpa. So my dad got the funniest video of her, because, she says she's a big Bills fan, and my dad stayed up to watch the game, so he's videotaping them winning, the big Bills game, of the first game of the year.
Oh,
He's like, "Oh, and look at the world's biggest Bills fan." And my mom is passed out, like mouth
oh,
open, snoring. So you're not the only one. A lot of a
yeah.
lot of Bills fans called it quits.
Yeah, we did. We called it quits and we turned our back on their boys, and we shouldn't have, but that's okay. That's okay. You know what? Again, I do want you on the podcast again. You have a lot of knowledge, and we will be working together again very, very soon. That much I promise. We'll be
Perfect.
right back right after this.
See it, Matt? He's at home. She's doing yourself. Hey crew, I'm just down at Phillip Island checking out some of the GP bikes and going through some teams. Come across this young fella, showing him the rocket fuel. What does he do?
Always went out of my bag.
Jesus.
I love it. It's good stuff.
How long have you been using it, brother?
Oh, a couple of years now. 2 years I've been using it.
I just heard the story of his first time use. You've got to listen.
So the first time I used it, I was in a bit of a rush trying to get to the gym. Quickly go to the bottom, I just seen 4. So I just grabbed 4 of the full droppers I took. Instead of 4 drops, 4 full droppers. And my head nearly exploded. I thought I was going to die, but then when it came good, put $1 million. I just need the body to equalise for about 5 minutes.
Here we are, fucking in with the team. What comes out of his bag?
Well, let me try it. I'm up. What's up? Yeah,
Can I see it, mate? Where's it home? Tastes alright. Careful, there's little kids. It's good for it. Feel better now.
yeah, really.
You love it.
Good, yeah, love it. I really do love it. It's a good product.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Four Piece Podcast. Really hope you got something out of the Elex Simon interview. Go to her podcast, go to her website, go to her, see who she is, see what this is all about. Get involved. If there's any way that this can grow, please try to do something, try to help. Again, mental health is important, and it is just as important, some cases more important in my opinion, than the health of physical health. I think you definitely need physical health, but mental health, when you're struggling through mental, you have a problem. Behind me, I want to show you something. That right there, I got to fix my finger a little bit. That right there, it is I was honored by Buffalo, New York, Erie County, and the leaders of Erie County, the leaders of Buffalo, New York, the leaders of New York State, just a couple days ago. I have the one by Erie County hanging up because I have to really rearrange my entire wall. If you guys notice that there's always like I have license plates on the wall and things like that. And what happened is this. Obviously, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and my studio was destroyed by Hurricane Helene, and I leave this wall unfinished as it is, up as a reminder of the strength and resiliency of this city. And that's why my wall looks like that. So what I did though, because I'm also kind of weird, very weird, what I do now is anytime I go to a city or go to a state or in a country, I have New South Wales license plates. I have obviously North Carolina. I have New York. It's a vanity plate. Yes, it is. I have Quebec. I have Ontario, Indiana, where I used to live, Tennessee, Nevada. Not live there, but I have done things in there. Anytime I can go to a state, I have a whole bunch of other states that I have to get, like Illinois. Um, 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 Colorado, things like that. And I'm going to get them California. But I'm going to get them, I'm going to hang them up, and I put them on there just to show that I've been there. I also collect like pens, and anytime I go somewhere, I get a pen. This says I love Sydney on it and things like that. I always hang it up. But when I got these citations from the state of New York, Erie County, and Buffalo, I have to say that I was, uh, I was humbled and honored. Buffalo, New York, is my city. It's where I'm from. It's a place that I love. I do love Asheville. I mean, I absolutely love it. It would be very hard for me to leave this place. But I will say that Buffalo is always going to be my home. I was there just like this past week for a book event at Rust Belt Books. It's over on Grant Street in Buffalo. If you live in that area, you need to go to this bookstore. It is I would say, one of the most awesome bookstores I've ever been to. They sell mostly used books, but it is a great place. If you went into that bookstore, it's going to take you a while to get out. Okay. Tons of books, different genres, all these other things, books from, books that you've never seen before, books that are clearly out of print. But they're just awesome books. They're just fantastic. It's a great bookstore. Vinny and Calissa, they own the store. And they do such a great job, in that community. It's a great place. And we had a really nice event there. But before I went to the event, I was at WUFO, for what I thought was going to be a radio interview with some other some other authors that were going to be at the event with me. And the city of Buffalo honored me. They humbled me, actually, and they also honored the other authors that attended that event. And these authors came from literally all over the world. They came from Chicago, which is another world in itself, but also they came from Australia and other places, for that. And then from there, we went on to the Toronto Word on the Street Book Festival, which is an annual event. I love going there, and I will be there again next year. But it was very nice to be honored by the city of Buffalo again. I don't know how to thank you, other than maybe mail you some free books of the 4Ps of you, or whatever book you want. I'm going to mail them to you. But yes, it was a fantastic event. It was a fantastic thing that happened. So yes, I am hanging those up. And next time, maybe like I said, I have to rearrange this entire wall now. I will definitely do that. And another thing I forgot to tell you, I do also do cityscapes. So that's on this side over here where I'm pointing, closest to the bookshelf, is Sydney. And then over on the other side, the darker picture is Toronto. Down here, you can't really see it that well, but I took a picture of the Harbor Bridge in Sydney, from a ferry. And then on the other side is the skyline of my beloved city of Buffalo. And I took that from Fort Erie, Ontario, because that's the best place to take a picture of the Buffalo city skyline, is Ontario. Next week, we are going to be talking about toxic relationships and what toxic relationships do, to you, not to the other person. The other person, they're toxic, and they don't really give a shit about you anyway. But the result of toxic relationships, your response to toxic relationships, actually dictate how toxic a relationship could be. And so we're going to be talking to Lietta Angel about toxic relationships. She writes a great article, a great I don't know, post or panel on Substack. And I read one of her her articles again on toxic relationships, and I was just stunned, like, wow, we all do this, and maybe we should be aware of what we're doing. It's a great thing for us to sit there and think about. Again, toxic relationships, they do interfere with the 4Ps. If you are focused on that relationship, you really can't focus on your purpose. So you really definitely want to watch that next week. And also, Dylan Reese, and I don't know if he's listening to this podcast or not. I hope he is. Dylan Reese, I'm going to start calling him my super fan. He's out of Arizona. He's a great individual. I want to say that your support means so much to me. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. Tell your friends, and I hope you receive my gift. It is definitely on its way. I will be talking to you again next week. You have a great day. Bye-bye.